Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We've got some really exciting news today. So the New York Post is reporting that President Trump is reportedly planning a strategic reserve for altcoins that are founded in the United States. So this is really, really interesting to me because if we take a look at what he did yesterday, so Trump's World Liberty Exchange, they sold all of their Bitcoin holdings for Ethereum, which I find interesting because, as soon as this news broke, nobody hesitated to start saying, they rattled off altcoin names like Solana, XRP, USD Coin, but they all left Ethereum absent. That's why I always like to say, pay attention to what big money does, not what it says. Actions always speak louder than words, typically. So if President Trump was going, gung ho on Bitcoin, you'd think that he'd hang on to it, but instead we're seeing him selling off his Bitcoin supply in exchange for Ethereum, and then the very next day we get news that he's talking about an altcoin. Or there's rumors that he's wanting to do an altcoin reserve instead of just a Bitcoin reserve. Something else that's really interesting is that, this really big news is coming out right towards the end of this massive bull flag on a weekly time frame. You can even see this all the way on the monthly time frame, or you could look at it as some sort of a slightly ugly head and shoulders pattern here spanning multiple years, and then we get this news coming out. It's very, very interesting. Whenever I see stuff like this, my eyebrows start to raise. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably sitting there and you're thinking, but Leo, he said that he wants these cryptos to be founded in the United States, but that's where I think a lot of people get it wrong on Ethereum, because I want to show you this one. Actually, I want to show you two things. So we come over here to ethernodes.org. Notice who's in the top place here. The United States is responsible for 32% of the Ethereum validators that are currently active. The next biggest concentration by country is Germany, having only 14.5%. So if you look at it from a standpoint of, okay, well, what country is controlling the majority of the transactions happening on Ethereum? And it's the United States. Now, the second thing is that the SEC and regulators have acknowledged that Ethereum, like Bitcoin, is decentralized. Okay, it has a commodity status with regulators, meaning that it doesn't have a centralized company. So while the president is talking about, I want US-based crypto companies in the US, Ethereum isn't a company. It's a decentralized commodity. And that is a big, big deal. Because, like Bitcoin, it doesn't have a company behind it. Satoshi Nakamoto, he's not around anymore, presumably. And it's the entire thing is functioning based on that it's decentralized around the world, and that you have this network with nobody behind it except the validators, right? You have the same thing going on with Ethereum. Now I know what you're thinking. You're saying, well, Leo, they have the Ethereum Foundation, which is based out of Switzerland. Yes, they do, but again, that is not Ethereum. That is an organization that pursues the development of Ethereum, but it is not Ethereum in itself. They don't control Ethereum, right? So it's the validators that actually control the network. It's the community, which is decentralized, and that's a big deal because that's what's going to allow them to come out and say, okay, yeah, we're going to go ahead and move this thing to start being part of the strategic reserve. So now let's kind of talk about what I talked about in the previous video, where I said that Ethereum will become a strategic world reserve asset by default. Now, this is based on BlackRock's vision for tokenization of Ethereum. So we're talking about having, they've already started tokenizing U.S. treasuries. They're talking about tokenizing the entire stock market, the U.S. stock market, onto Ethereum. Down the road, you're going to see real estate, car titles, digital identity. You're going to see an expansion within the stablecoin space. So you're going to have this one asset, this digital commodity called Ethereum, backing the ownership rights of all of the United States' assets. And you still don't think that's a US-based, at the very least, a very strong case for it to be put into the strategic reserve, just based on the fact that we're going to become so dependent on it. There's a lot of people talking about, Solana. They're going to put Solana in the reserve. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. They're going to put Solana in, but you know what? BlackRock, they're tokenizing U.S. Treasuries onto Ethereum, but they're not going to put Ethereum in the reserve. They're going to put Solana, which is not tokenizing U.S. Treasuries. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So I think that out of all the altcoins, Ethereum has the strongest chance of being included in this strategic reserve. And if it isn't, I would argue that it's a matter of time for them to realize this argument that, okay, well, the majority of the validators operate in the United States. So, and BlackRock is wanting to tokenize and bring all the United States' assets and even the world's assets onto Ethereum. And they're going to start, there's going to be a more crypto-friendly SEC, which means that what's likely going to happen is BlackRock is going to start converting their Ethereum ETF into a staked Ethereum ETF, which means that the dominance of Ethereum being staked in the United States, the validators, is going to skyrocket. It's probably going to go up to like 50% once that goes through, which is ultimately that's going to signal for a whole lot of more people to start buying that asset because they're going to want to earn yield on Ethereum. It's much more appealing to institutional investors if they're getting that dividend, that they're getting that yield from staking rewards. Now, in the beginning with the ETFs, we didn't see a lot of traction, right? They launched in the middle of the summer, the summer doldrums, not a lot of people are trading. And then kind of towards the end of the year, we started seeing it pick up quite a bit now. And I think part of that is the summer doldrums. Part of this is the lack of education around what Ethereum is within the institutional space. You talk to a lot of these institutions and they say, well, our clients aren't as familiar with Ethereum as they are Bitcoin. Bitcoin's very easy for them to sell. It's digital gold. Oh, okay, I buy. But Ethereum is a little bit different. But if it does come out that Trump or they add Ethereum into a United States strategic reserve, what that's going to do is that's going to be a big signal and a big light bulb moment for the general investing public. They're going to be like, wait a second, what's he adding to this reserve? So not only would the U.S. government begin buying lots of Ethereum, but it's going to signal to the investing public, hey, we need to buy this asset as well. We need to add this to our portfolio. If the government's doing it, we need to do it. It's going to signal a lot more legitimacy to wealth managers around the world. Financial advisors are going to be able to start recommending it more. They're going to feel more comfortable recommending it because the government's buying it. If it's the government's buying it, it should be good enough for you. So the U.S. Treasury can hold assets like gold and foreign currency exchanges in reserve to stabilize the value of the U.S. dollar. Now, as we move into a future where stablecoins are built on top of Ethereum, it could become a core way for world transactions, both average consumer and big institutions, to facilitate trade. So imagine a scenario where the U.S. dollar is essentially minted as a stablecoin on Ethereum, and suddenly this network that secures all of this value around the world, becomes a highly strategic asset for the United States government. How are you not going to hold the very asset that your stablecoins, your currency, is being built on top of? I mean, to me, this is like, oh, duh, yes, they're going to have Ethereum. This isn't well, maybe they'll do it. To me, this is no, duh, they're going to do it. There's no way that they can't do it. Whether that's now or a few months down the road, they're going to figure that out. They're going to have BlackRock and these other financial institutions in their ear saying, hey, Ethereum's the future of the financial system. It would be very beneficial for the United States government to own part of that system. But not only that, I mean, I would argue that it's even, if this vision plays out where, all of the property rights in the United States are effectively backed and secured by Ethereum, that it is a matter of national security for them to own at least a portion, some amount of Ethereum, because all the value, all the rights in the United States are backed and secured by this network, by this commodity that's going to revolutionize the entire financial system and property rights. On the surface, Ethereum doesn't seem to fit that mold, but if we scratch a little bit deeper, a big chunk of validators are actually the majority of validators are concentrated in the United States. It's recognized by U.S. regulators as a decentralized commodity, and major U.S. companies are starting to build on it, like BlackRock and JP Morgan. So yes, Ethereum might not have the official U.S. incorporated label, but it has more American influence than many people think. It's entirely possible that if a formal crypto reserve gets, created, Ethereum could be included as a must-have due to the relevance in the United States economic landscape, especially once like stablecoins start being put on it. It's a no-brainer at that point. So that's pretty much it for this video. Keep an eye on it. Nothing is guaranteed. This is all speculation, what we've kind of talked about, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Ethereum included in a crypto reserve if that gets established. And if that does happen, it's going to go vertical because nobody's expecting it. Nobody's thinking that's going to happen. That's not even 99% of people out there. That's not even on their mind. So anyway, until next time, y'all take care.